It's been 20 years since The Matrix changed genre cinema forever, and now Lana Wachowski, Keanu Reeves, and Carrie-Ann Moss are returning for a fourth film. So we're taking a look at some of the biggest questions we want answered in The Matrix 4. Now that we know Keanu Reeves is returning for more of The Matrix, the big question is how his character Neo comes back after his apparent death in The Matrix Revolutions. The Oracle suggests that we might see him again at the end of the film.
Will we ever see him again?
I suspect so. Someday.
But his body is carried away by the machines after he defeats Agent Smith and reboots The Matrix. There are a number of ways the film could explain Neo's return, the most obvious of which is by telling us that he didn't really die after all, and that the machines ultimately nursed him back to health. Then there's the explanation that because of his status as the One, Neo was always at least partially a software creation, the product of programming mixing with biology. Perhaps the software in him survived and reincarnated in the new Matrix. Whatever the case, we can't wait to see how we get him back.
But now, I'm thinking I'm back!
Neo is the One, so there are all kinds of possibilities through which that character could return from the dead. But how exactly will Carrie-Ann Moss return as Trinity? Her character is quite clearly dead after being impaled on machinery at the end of The Matrix Revolutions. She's an amazing warrior, but she's not the One. Thankfully, the sci-fi realm of this franchise offers plenty of possibilities for her return as well. Humans aren't born so much as they're grown, which leaves the door open for genetic engineering, cloning, and all manner of other things. Perhaps Trinity was replicated. There's also the possibility that Trinity now only exists as software, a program within the Matrix conceived to replace her physical self, made from preserved data about her personality and appearance. However it happens, her return could ultimately be even more fascinating than Neo's. While Neo and Trinity journey to the Machine City to put an end to the war in the Matrix Revolutions, Morpheus stays behind to help with the final battle at Zion, arriving at the last minute so Link could activate an EMP that effectively pauses the battle so the humans can prepare for their last stand. When Neo reaches a truce with the machines, Morpheus is among the survivors of Zion, one of the last surviving leaders of the free human race. Lawrence Fishburne, who played Morpheus in the original Matrix trilogy, was notably absent from the list of names attached to the new film. That doesn't necessarily mean he won't be in the movie, but in the event Fishburne's not around, then what happened to Morpheus? Does the story just not concern him? Will he be played by a different actor? He's too big a presence in the franchise for the film to ignore, so we can't wait to see how The Matrix 4 explains what happened to everybody's favorite freedom fighter. The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions established that The Matrix is full of rogue programs. Some of these are from much older versions of the Matrix, and they have their own agendas, plans, and seemingly supernatural abilities. The Oracle tells Neo that these are the source of humanity's stories about vampires, werewolves, and other creatures, as the programs basically do as they please after refusing deletion. When the Matrix rebooted at the end of Revolutions, we saw that both the Oracle and the Architect were still present, but what about the rogue programs? Is the Merovingian still scheming with the next version of the simulation? Is the Train Man? What other rogue programs might have resisted deletion the last time around and are operating now? It'll be interesting indeed to see the state of rogue programs in the new version of this world. In The Matrix Reloaded, Neo meets a character called Seraph, a program serving and protecting the Oracle. The guy acts as an authenticator for visitors by fighting them before they can see her. It's eventually made clear that Seraph is unusual, even by the standards of other programs with strange abilities. When Neo looks at him through the Matrix's code, he sees a golden burning light, while everything else around Seraph is green. At one point, one of the Merovingian's thugs refers to him as wingless. In the multiplayer game The Matrix Online, it's revealed that Seraph once acted as an agent in the first version of The Matrix, the Paradise version, making him something akin to an angel. Seraph's angel status makes him apparently second only to Neo in terms of fighting ability, and his status as a product of the first Matrix makes him one of the oldest programs in existence. So will he show up in The Matrix 4? He's a fascinating character, and it would be great to see the next film return him as a key part of the mythos. At the end of Revolutions, Neo manages to negotiate a peace between the machines and the humans. Human civilization would be allowed to continue in some form, and humans would have a chance to leave the Matrix up front. So what does human civilization look like now? It'll be interesting to see what's changed. Is Zion still the only human city? Have humans found a way to survive on the surface with the machines' heavy pollution? Are there more people? The biggest question is whether the peace lasted, and if so, for how long.
Just how long do you think this peace is going to last?
As long as it can.
The architect took a cynical view of things, so it's quite possible that he began at that very moment to explore new ways to subjugate and undermine humanity's future as supposedly free. And since so much of the thematic weight of The Matrix is already tied up in themes of determinism versus free will, it's easy to see how that cycle would begin again. It's also possible that humans have used their newfound ability to leave the Matrix and begin a kind of cold war with the machines, with the hope of wiping them out entirely. If you're the type of fan who likes to pick apart the world established in The Matrix, you may have arrived at a lingering question. Why wouldn't the machines have adopted alternative means of energy rather than just farming humans? After the peace established in The Matrix Revolutions, it's a question that has to come up again. With humans now granted the freedom to choose to leave the Matrix or not as the result of Neo's sacrifice, how have the machines adapted to their new coexistence? Have they adopted alternative means of energy? If humanity changed, then the machines likely had to do some kind of adjusting as well, and that will be quite an interesting idea for The Matrix 4 to explore. Where Neo had to be dragged out of the Matrix after some convincing by Morpheus, humans will now be given an upfront decision. They can leave the simulated universe they know for a free and real life in a harsher world, or they can stay in the Matrix with all its simulated modern comfort.
Ignorance is bliss.
As the original trilogy made clear, there were some who will choose to forget about the real world and simply carry on living in the Matrix with modern conveniences, while others will choose reality. Now that everyone gets to make that choice, the big question is, what will that choice look like? How do the machines present their argument? Do both sides try to convince souls in the Matrix to stay or go? If you're born outside of the Matrix, can you try it and see if you'd like to stay? The film reportedly starts production in early 2020, so maybe it won't be too long before we find out. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about upcoming movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.